Hey guys, welcome to Phil's No Frills Drone Reviews, episode 3. So, today I got a new camera too. I'm using, well actually it's an old camera, but I think this will work a little better, probably better quality. Hopefully the audio's alright. I'm going to just talk a little louder just in case. But, so today I'm going to review the Hubsan X4 mini drone, which is this guy here. This is, I bought this actually in Ireland, something I don't usually do. I usually would order online, but there just happens to be a little shop, little hobby shop in my town, so I thought I'd give the guy a bit of business. I think you can get this for like maybe €35 online, probably about the same dollar-wise. I'm just going to use euro from now on, and you know, what I've seen, Amazon is pretty comparable in terms of dollar. Like if something's €35 here, it's going to be about 30 quid in the States in dollars, typically. So what does this come with? It comes with a battery. It only comes with one battery. Now it's a 380 milliamp, 3.7 volt. So it's that little guy there. So it's got the smaller connector. I don't know the names of these different connectors. I know there's normally like a little bit bigger one, so I had to actually use this little multi-port charger thing that I got off of just a Chinese website basically that sent it to me. So you might need a little converter plug thing. Probably, if you have a few drones, you'll have a few laying around, I think. I bought an extra battery just because I like to have two. You know, they're a bit more powerful. They're not the smallest batteries that you could put in a little drone this size. I know there's like 200, and I think there might be even 150 milliamp for really small drones. But this one's got a little more weight on it. Which I'm going to get into. It also comes with propellers. I have a few more extra ones in here than you probably would if you ordered. I think you only get one. Yeah, you get one full set. I've got like 2 spare sets because I went through the first set quite quickly. It's also got this little tool. Actually, no, that came from a different drone, I think. Yeah, that came from a different drone. So fuck it, you don't get that little tool after all. You get this little tool, which actually is a pretty useful little piece of metal. It doesn't look like much. It looks like a little fork kind of. But you know what? This thing's pretty useful. I've used it on other drones too because it's basically just for prying these propellers off. So they just pop right off and they go on this little kind of metal shaft coming out of the motor. So they're quite easy to swap in and out. It comes with a propeller guard as well, which is one of those big cagey type ones, which I don't really like. It's in a bin somewhere. I threw it out. Comes with the container. It really messes with this thing's flight capabilities. I tried it with the guard on once, and I was just like, "This is, not going anywhere." It's pretty clumsy, not so great. Good little controller. It's a lot like a video game controller. It's just got, it's actually got a bunch of trim functions for throttle and stuff, and there's a bunch of sensitivity settings and stuff, I think. To be honest, I didn't change too much. This is just a little mini drone. I didn't need to really fine tune it because it doesn't have altitude hold or anything anyway. But, it's got a nicely positioned ascent and descent here, and I went over this actually in another review where I was complaining about the Hubsan 501M. But, it's notched in there, so, you're going to get a straight up punch up, which is nice. This is nice, you know. It's just a nice little video game style type controller. Very, very simple. There's no way to start the video. Believe it or not, this actually has a camera on it as well. Just a little pinhole camera. And it's not half bad, actually, for such a small little drone. The battery basically just goes in here. Now, this is the one thing that I've noticed other reviewers kind of complain about with this is you kind of have to dig this thing out. The little connector for the battery, you know, it's kind of long, and it it kind of hangs off the end of the drone, but it doesn't really cause any problems. It never has for me. You can try to shove it in this little cavity here, but that's about as good as you're going to get, though. I mean, it's always kind of poking out. But, you know, it's not a big deal, at least not for me, for such a little drone like this. I mean, you're not going to have, you know, some great, fantastic, faraway adventures with this. It's not going to give you a load of range. But what do I like about it? I mean, it's really a solid drone. It's like a little stone, you know. It feels really well built. I mean, there's not a thing on here that's broken. I've crashed it like more times than I'd care to remember. The only thing I've ever really broken is propellers at first, and I did break quite a few of these. I was kind of tempting fate, and I took it in some pretty good wind, actually. And I actually lost this drone, and I didn't get it for a day or so. I went into the place where I lost it, and these maintenance guys knew exactly what I was there for, looking around on the grass. And I can't believe how far this thing went into this area that I flew it into. I was surprised at the range on it. I think I did lose connection with it, and that's it was pretty hard to control. It's got two rates, which you adjust by basically pushing this right stick down, kind of like a PlayStation 4, any of the PlayStation series. I like that it's got very easily recognizable lights, blue in the front, red in the back, so you know which way you're facing. It's also got these little headlights, kind of like eyes in the front, which is pretty cool. It looks really cool at night, actually. The camera quality leaves a little bit to be desired at nighttime, but surprisingly, it's not that bad in daylight. I was surprised. I mean, I flew it around. I don't think I have the footage. I'm not sure if I'll have to take it on a little flight in the daytime and post some footage of this guy. You know, I have to work on my YouTube channel a bit. I'm kind of doing this when I get time. It's obviously not my job or anything. So, yeah, solid. One great feature that Hubsan came up with for this drone, and I think all micro drones should have this, is the arms are like jointed. So there's a little joint that pops out of place. So if you crash into a wall, that will break. The jointed part of the arm will break, but it's not actually broken. You just slide the joint back into place. So it gives you some extra assurance, you know, even if you crash this thing into the wall. And I've dropped it down too. I mean, cut the engine, you know, and had it come crashing down, and that's the only thing I've ever. These just pop out of place, and then you just click them back into place, basically, and then you're ready to go again. They're supposed to do that, actually, so that just flips in there. It's a really, really creative and good way to do it. The button for starting video is actually like right next to the SD card, so you just press it right after you plug it in and put it on the ground. It's a tiny little button. And yeah, you know, it's a pinhole camera, a little bit blurry. The battery life is not that bad either. Probably 5 to 5, 6, 7 minutes, maybe 8 even. So some things, let's see, what don't I like about it? It's got kind of a revvy type motor, that revs up and down quite a bit. It's difficult to get it to hover in one place because a little drone like this, and I don't know if there are micro drones like this that have altitude hold. With this small of little motors, I think it would be kind of tricky because you're always kind of cycling up and cycling down. So you bring it up and it starts going way too high, and you have to drop it down and then kind of catch it right before it comes crashing down to the ground. So a lot of revving up. So you're going to want to move it around. It's not a drone that you're just going to hover in one place. You're not going to take, beautiful footage of this thing, but it's a fun little drone to fly, I have to say, in a good space. In your house, I mean, if you're like me, if anytime I fly it in here, it starts out all right, but I end up whacking it against a wall or something. It's fast too. If you go into that second rate, I mean, make sure you're outside, because it's pretty quick in the super fast rate. There's only 2 rates. But yeah, great little drone. I would have never even bought a micro drone, and I probably won't buy a ton of these because I'm not big into the little tiny racers. They're kind of gimmicky, but this thing is the most solid little micro drone I've ever seen. I mean, it has that kind of shiny plastic about it too. The kind of like a Bugs, like a Bugs 2 basically. That shiny, the black Bugs 2 and the red one I know have that shiny kind of finish. So yeah, that's about it. Maybe a little wider lens, would have been nicer, but again, I can't really complain for a little guy like this. Like I say, you can pick it up online for very cheap. So yeah, the X4, the Hubsan X4 mini drone, good drone. I would probably recommend if you're looking for one of these small ones, that you gotta fly something on a rainy day, and you can probably fly this in a house or a gymnasium pretty easy. So that's about it. Not great camera quality at night, by the way. So cool to look at night, but I mean, you want to have a lot of street lights around you because it's a pinhole camera, so not much light gets into it. But on the whole, man, really solid. I'm pretty impressed. And so the only one I've been down from Hubsan, just to clarify, is this 501M that I had, which I'm well over. Then I do have a 501C, and one final thing, you might be wondering, there's been kind of sporadic, no reviews. I'm actually waiting. There's a couple drones that I have that are on their way to me. So once I get those, then we're gonna have some more reviews. And thanks for your time, guys, and thanks for all your support. Link in the description below to my YouTube channel, and we'll talk to you soon.